welcome to the GymnastFix YouTube channel, episode number 2. If you guys missed out on episode number 1, pause this one first, go back, check out what I had to say about ice, whether or not it should be your go-to option or not. This is Neely. Neely's going to help us out with today's video. Neely is a level 10 here in Alabama, and she is one of just my dearest friends, so she's going to help us. And I've got a couple questions for Neely because they really pertain to her a lot, and we haven't rehearsed this, so we're going to get Neely's gut instinct first reaction. I actually filmed this video yesterday without her, and the whole time I was like, man, I just wish Neely was here, so I waited today till I saw her to get this one on camera. So today we're going to take a little bit different turn in topics, and we're going to talk about flexed feet. Now in gymnastics, this isn't like a worship position, right? What do we do in gymnastics?
Point our feet always.
Point our toes, right? This is like the coveted position. Not even that. Let me see you toe point. Let's pick the right one. The right one's a good one, right? There we go. Like that's a beautiful, really artistic position in gymnastics. Why do I think it's important though that we train with flexed feet? Kind of the reason why I see Neely. Neely ruptured her Achilles back this summer, June, and she's coming back from it. She's putting in so much work. I'm super proud of her. But nonetheless, she ruptured her Achilles. And so one of the ways that we can help aid in reducing that chance of injury, I can't say prevent Achilles ruptures because there's no such thing as injury prevention, simply injury reduction. But one way we can help reduce that injury rate is by working on our dorsiflexion. So a flexed foot in my world equals dorsiflexion, okay? I'll kind of switch that back and forth from dorsiflexion to flexed foot, but I know in gymnastics, this is flexed feet, right? Okay, so throughout practice, you guys often train pointed toes.
Right.
When do you purposefully train flexed feet?
Close to never.
Yeah, like maybe, I'm thinking maybe like a pike stretch.
Sure. Or towards the end of practice, just kind of loosening up.
Maybe like feet behind you in a downward dog, really kind of stretching the calves.
Yeah.
But you've never intentionally flexed the feet.
Right.
But you always intentionally point the toes. Okay. So if I'm watching gymnastics, if I'm watching a practice, and I go and I check out Neely, and I'm watching her tumble, I'm seeing flexed feet throughout the tumbling pass that she's not going to get deducted for. So when am I seeing your flexed feet? You're going, oh my gosh, when is she seeing flexed feet, right? I'm seeing flexed feet on her approach, so as she's running. So when you run down the vault runway or run into your pass, you're going through your gait cycle, you're hitting the floor, going into flexed feet or dorsiflexion, and then pushing off, right? What about your approach into, say, a round off? So as you're going into your tumbling pass, you step down like this, you reach in, that's a flexed position. Do a handstand, or just pretend like you're going into a handstand for me. Yeah, so what is that?
Flexed foot.
A flexed foot, right? All right, come back up. Same thing, you do a front toss on me. Same thing, going into that deep lunge, that takeoff position, into that front toss. Do you do a side aerial as well? Yeah, so side aerial, takeoff and landing. So when you land, say you land a little low sometimes, I don't know, I'm not calling you out on anything, but say you land in this very low position, that's a flexed foot. What about your Arabian off bars? Right, you do half double front.
Yeah.
You land, flexed feet. Okay, so you get the picture. Throughout practice, we always have flexed feet. Now you never go to a meet and do a new skill that you haven't practiced to perfection yet, would you? You never do a new choreographed dance move or a part of your routine without really perfecting it.
Right.
So let's intentionally train flexed feet. Now why is that important? Because you use it all throughout practice. Okay, we want to be strong in different ranges of motion, right? Just like we want to be strong in our pointed toes, not just for artistry, but also for punch, right? If we're not strong in our plantar flexion, our pointed toes, when you go to rebound into a skill, you won't be able to transfer the force necessary for that skill. Okay, like if you're doing plyometrics, you're really trying to stay on your toes, right? Okay, so we have something called active and something called passive ranges of motion. Active range of motion is what you do on your own. So what your muscles pull you into completely on your own. Passive is what maybe I can assist you with, or maybe what gravity can assist you with. So we're talking about ankles, right? So Bridget, you can see us when we're down here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so come down into a kneeling for me. Kneelie, how about you kneel? All right, so I want you just to push this knee this way. There you go. So that's a mix of active and passive range of motion. It's pretty passive because she's using her body weight to pull her this way. All right, now sit down in the pike for me. All right, I'm gonna take her foot, relax it. I'm gonna push it. That's passive range of motion because I'm passively assisting and pushing. Now her active range of motion and pull is that because her muscles are doing it. Now in a perfect world, we want a very small difference between active and passive ranges of motion. Say 10% difference. You're always gonna have more passive. I can always push you just a little bit further, but you want to be strong in nearly the same range. Because in gymnastics, we're always going to utilize our full range. Do you ever land a pass short? Mm-hmm. You land those aerial short every now and then? Yeah, right? So we land, say, a double back short, or say you over-rotate that double front off bars, what are you using? As much passive range of motion as possible. All right, so I've got a few drills to help us intentionally train flex feet, because we want our gymnasts to be really, really strong in that passive range, or up to that passive range, kind of from their active to that passive point. I kind of associate this, I have these like weird thoughts in my head. You know all my metaphors are kind of crazy out there. So I think of passive range of motion kind of as a novice driver. So think back when you were 15, was that 2 years ago? Three. I'm sorry, you just turned 18 not too long ago. Okay. All right, so when you were 15 and you were just learning how to drive, you had to have an instructor, whether it's your parent, instructor, whichever. And that instructor told you all the moves that you needed to make. Push the gas, push the brake, turn on your headlights, turn on your turn signal. They're passively driving for you. They're giving you the instructions. All right, that's your passive range of motion. I'm your coach, I'm helping you get there, all right? Active range of motion is when you're completely on your own. Now try taking a novice driver that's passively driving and putting them on a NASCAR track, going, 200 miles an hour? I'm not sure, I'm not a NASCAR fan, but going really fast, out of control. Okay, so that's like us taking someone that has only this amount of active range of motion, but they really have that much passive range, and we're taking them that they can only control it this much, and then we're putting them into a NASCAR race like that. That NASCAR race in gymnastics is like a tumbling pass. Like a ton of speed behind it, a ton of height, a ton of velocity, and then they land just a little bit short, but they don't have the strength there, right? So I've got a couple drills that I think are really important to add into your training. Some of them we've discussed. So I think that these are critical to start thinking about and implementing maybe a couple times a week, especially if you have a gymnast that has suffered from ankle injuries, that perhaps struggles with their takeoffs or their landings. So you have someone that just always crunches their ankles on a double back, or they dread hard landings on vault because they're scared they're gonna land a little short, and they are very hesitant with that. I know I was one of those, okay? So my first one is something called pails and rails. You don't need to know what that acronym stands for, it's an FRC term, but I'll show you the drill for it. So what we're gonna do is I want you to go into, let's just go into a lunge. So lunge, face me. And let's use this one. So this is her newer one, reconstructed one, right? So she's gonna passively push into that lunge for me. So that's her maximum range of motion. Now she's gonna take all 5 toes, kind of behind the toes under the ball of the foot, and I want you to press into the ground. Give me about 20% effort with that. Over the next minute, she's gonna ramp up to 100. So every so many seconds, go 30%, 40%. After we get to like 50 or 60, I want her to start kind of tightening up her body. She's gonna get really tense. She's gonna squeeze her glutes in the back. If I give her a little punch right here in the belly, it'd be nice and tight. She's getting tense through the arms. She's gonna start to get a little hot and warm because this is hard. She's pushing as if she's pushing a gas pedal down. After about a minute, she's slowly gonna relax, stay there, and then she's gonna give it her all to lift her toes up off the ground without moving her body backwards. Now this physically won't happen, but where are you struggling right now?
My shin.
Yeah, so she's gonna get all the activation of the anterior part of her leg right here. So that's a really good way, and I would do this maybe once or twice, again, a couple times a week. That's it. Hey, sorry we cut out there. We're back. Okay, so we just wrapped up basically the pail and the rail of ankle dorsiflexion in this lunge position. So what she was feeling was a ton of burn through the front of her shin as she lifted. I would repeat that again. So in that flex position, push the gas pedal down, ramp it up to a minute, and then try to peel the ankle away or the foot up off the ground. That's a really good way to strengthen the ankle in that extreme flex position. Again, the stronger you are in that position as a gymnast, the better you can recover from a short landing, say the ending of a double back, the stronger and more able you're gonna be approaching into a run or into a tumbling pass, okay? So that's a way to train flex feet or flex. That sounds so like counterintuitive as a gymnast, doesn't it? Like, oh gosh, I gotta train flex feet. All right, so that's one. Now another position for this is in like kind of like that downward dog position. So like you're stretching out your Achilles. So kind of go up for me like this. So in this position, she's gonna do the exact same thing that she just did. She's gonna gas pedal it down, and she's gonna ramp up to 100% or the safest amount of effort she can give us over a minute. And then she's gonna relax and try to pull her foot, the ball of her toes up off the ground. Which one's harder for you, Neely? That one or the lunge?
Probably this one.
Yeah, this feels way more effective to you than the other one. So you can kind of go back and forth. Maybe Mondays, you do the lunge. Thursdays, you do this one, okay? All right, what I like to do right after this, go and sit up, is pair that with an active movement, like a duck walk. I'll do it with you because they look extremely ridiculous, don't they? All right, so we're gonna duck walk towards them. So now we load that ankle in that dorsiflex position. As we go from dorsiflex, we push off into plantar flexion, just like we would during a run or a tumbling pass. So I would do these maybe across the floor, down the vault runway. I mean, this would tire you out, yeah? And it's a perfect way to train that flex position. The other two ways I like to train this is through just a body weight squat or an assisted squat or a Cossack squat. So a body weight squat is just an air squat. An assisted squat, I like to use like a leg of a balance beam or a bar to help you. So you're gonna hold on, you can do this with me, Neely. As you go down, you're just using this to kind of climb your way down. And you're really focusing on exaggerating the ankle, or the angle at your ankle. So you go down, and I feel a big pressure here on my way back up. Good way to train that flex foot. Now the last one is a Cossack squat. This is not my forte. I don't like doing things I'm really bad at, but I'm gonna do it. All right, so Cossack squat is basically a one-sided squat. It's wide, and you let the knee go to one side like this. And you can see, I'm not great at this, because where you really wanna be is down here, but what do I have to sacrifice to get there? That. My heel comes up off the ground. Do you think this is gonna feel really good if I landed short on a double back? Probably not. So Cossack squats are a great way to A, evaluate whether or not you're strong or you have enough dorsiflexion, or B, if you should be training dorsiflexion. Obviously, I should be training dorsiflexion. I can't get there. Now, I do want to create a video to give you guys an awareness of how to test ankle dorsiflexion if you have enough of it and how to improve it. But that's like a video series. That's more than one video. That's like a year of teaching. So that's probably like 5 videos. They're coming down the pipeline, look for them. But for right now, I just want to kind of give you guys an awareness of why we should be training flex feet. Think of something else in practice that you can incorporate flex feet on.
Conditioning?
Yeah. So when you're doing leg lifts, don't you think, and we didn't rehearse this is all coming from Neely right off the bat like this. You point your toes.
Right.
Like, would you count a leg lift that you had sloppy toes on?
No.
No. So you're really disciplined and you're an honest athlete, right? But you struggle in the leg lift to point your toes. What about if you do leg lifts Monday through Friday, maybe on Wednesday, you do leg lifts with flex toes or flex feet. That way you're still doing your normal conditioning and you don't have to add in other stuff and complicate your practice, but we're now training that flex position, okay? All right, some things to think about. If you guys can think of, I have a challenge, if you can think of somewhere in your practice that you're training flex feet that I didn't think about, or somewhere that you could be training flex feet, leave me a comment and I will respond to it next week. I'll see you guys then. Thanks, Neely. Yes, bye.